Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. Finally! I'm finally playing a deck that doesn't have Azamina or Fiendsmith stuff in it. Neither of those archetypes are present here. We're on Sky Striker. Of course, with this last update, we not only saw the selection pack with Fiendsmith and Azamina, but the Sky Striker bundle, the solo mode animation, all very cool stuff along with a bunch of alt arts, which we did pull quite a few of from the Sky Striker bundle. So we wanted to make use of those. Managed to snag a couple of copies of Rei. We got a couple of copies of Hayate, and then one Kagari as well. Of course, in addition to the two regular arts. But, yeah, Sky Strikers. So even though there's not technically any new support, of course, still wanted to cover the deck. One thing I'm going to point out very quickly about my build here is that it is definitely not, like, the most optimal Sky Striker build, because I don't own Upstart Goblins, and I don't like this deck enough to craft them. So ideally, I would have Upstart Goblins instead of like some combination of Maxi and Ash Blossom. And really, I could probably just remove the Ash Blossoms. And you really probably could also just make an argument for removing Maxi for like a second Raigeki if I wanted to craft that, or other UR board breakers, I don't know, like Change of Heart maybe. Something along those lines. But I think that this build is still more than serviceable if you just want to like mess around on ranked ladder, right? But yeah, Sky Striker. So the strategy for this deck has remained very much unchanged, right? It's a control deck with a resource loop, ideally using Mecha Module's multi-rolls to loop stuff like Engage and Widow Anchor to make sure that you're just like constantly not only shutting down your opponent's plays, but like as you're whittling down their resources, yours are not being diminished because you're just resetting stuff off modules, searching and then drawing off Engage, etc, etc. Of course, Engage and all the other Sky Striker spells, but mainly Engage, wanting 3 spells in the graveyard is the main reason why something like Upstart and more board breakers would be better over hand traps in this deck. There's actually a lot of very successful Sky Striker builds that don't play any hand traps at all. Because this is a blind going second deck. Now you might think, well, wouldn't hand traps be really, really good if you're blind going second? And the answer is normally yes, but hand traps are, of course, generally not spell cards. So we want spells in the graveyard. And for that reason, we focus a lot more on the board breakers than the hand traps, right? Deck also does still have a decent amount of draw power, even if we don't draw and search power. Even if we're not playing Upstart Goblins, we have Desires, but more than that, we also have the Triple Tactics Talent and also Triple Tactics Thrust. Of course, the Thrust can search up any normal spell card, as long as the opponent has a monster in the field. You even get to add it right to your hand, again, which will happen a lot of times because we're always going second. Therefore, we'll usually just grab Engage, and then we are good to go. Linkage is a card that I kind of want to go down on. I'm still playing a full playset of 3, but while this card is an OTK alongside Rei, one that's a 2-card combo, which in 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually a pretty decently sized ask. And more than that, the OTK isn't actually lethal unless your opponent has no monsters on the field, because it deals exactly 8,000 damage. Granted, ideally, if your board breakers pop off, that won't be an issue, but it's not really something that you can plan for. A lot of the time, Linkage's big use is to just go into another Sky Striker monster you want to use right away, right? Maybe even during the battle phase, but yeah, I don't know. It's not something that I think you necessarily need a full playset of. I know it's a UR, so it might seem kind of prohibitive, but if you own 2, or honestly even only 1, I think you could get away with 1 Linkage in Sky Striker, and you would be fine. I mean, on that note, we're only playing 2 Hornet Drones, which is a card that went to 3 relatively recently, but the 3rd actually isn't really super necessary a lot of the time. Just because, ideally you'll have Rei instead of the Hornet Drones token to get your plays going, because of course Rei can resummon herself from the graveyard, etc, etc. How much do I even really need to explain? I mean, we've all played, if not with, against Sky Striker by this point, right? I say that, but I also like to make sure that if someone who is newer to the game happens to stumble across the channel and these videos, that they're still caught up to speed with the rest of us here, so Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the build, though. Like I said, it's an extremely standard Sky Striker build. I do still want to try some funky variants, like Fiendsmith Sky Striker Orchest is something that's been on my mind, but that, of course, is an entirely different beast from what we're seeing here. So anyway, let's break this card down, this deck rather, card by card, and then we'll take a look at these games. We're on 2 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 Sky Striker Ace Ray, 1 Sky Striker Ace Rose, 1 Raigeki, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Pot of Desires, 3 Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, 1 Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburner, 2 Lightning Storm, 3 Triple Tactics Talent, 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, 1 Sky Striker Mecha Modules Multi-Roll, 2 Call by the Grave, 2 Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones, 3 Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor, 1 Sky Striker Mecha Eagle Booster, 1 Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon, 3 Forbidden Droplet, and finally 3 Sky Striker Mobilize in... No, Linkage. Jeez. Alright, we barely made it through that. Let's read off the extract here. We're on 1 Superstar Slayer Typhoon, 3 Sky Striker Ace Kagare, 2 Sky Striker Ace Shizuku, 2 Sky Striker Ace Hayate, 1 Sky Striker Ace Kaina, 1 Sky Striker Ace Zeke, 1 Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, 1 Sky Striker Ace Azalea, 1 Sky Striker Ace Camellia, 1 SP Little Knight, and finally 1 Access Code Talker. There's our list. Let's look at these duels. Our first opponent is going to be on the ever popular, ever prominent right now Millennium deck. This is regular ranked ladder, of course. It's not either of the events because we're not on an anime and we're playing Link monsters. Yeah, Millennium's still quite popular in the current meta just because of new toy syndrome, I think, more than anything else. I will expect that as this next month wears on, you'll be seeing significantly fewer Millennium decks on ladder. Maybe not. Maybe the anime nostalgia train is enough to get it there, but... Alright, so our opponent's going into the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. Is it Unstoppable? It's Unstoppable, right? Yeah, the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. Unluckily for them, it looks like they've got the 2 Exodia pieces in hand, too. Alright, so they have the standard Spell Trap, Negate, plus back row removal, but thankfully, we play so many Spell and Trap cards that baiting out the Negate is very simple, and even here, we can just Droplet send the Feather Duster that's on the same chain link. This will not only negate the Exodia, but our Duster will still resolve and destroy their back row. Excuse me. So it's Imperm plus Exod Fires of Rage. Here we can set up the Hornet Drones. I maybe should have considered using Lightning Storm on the attack mode Exodia Incarnate first, but it's also really not necessary because it's negated, right? So we can just battle over it with Hayate instead of attacking directly. So yeah, it's definitely not necessary to use Lightning Storm at all here. We're going to dump Engage, and this is a very common line that you'll be doing in Sky Striker. Using the Hayate to send Engage from deck to graveyard, then you'll go into Kagari effect in order to add that Engage back to hand. Now we activate Engage. Just let us search and draw. I'm going to search Widow Anchor. And then we just happen to draw another Engage, which is absolutely insane. Going to use that to add Shark Cannon. And then we end up drawing Afterburners. Now we can go into Shizuku, which will be the last Sky Striker we end on. Now here our opponent's going to concede, so unfortunately I don't get to show this, but I'll still explain what you do during the end phase. So during the end phase, you'll get asked if you want to activate Shizuku or Hornet Drones first. Or not Hornet Drones, multi-roll. Now these effects are not going to happen on the same chain link, so you actually want to activate Shizuku first. That'll let you set the Engage from your graveyard. Now multi-roll... I'm sorry, I said that completely backwards. You want to do multi-roll first to set the Engage from your graveyard. Now, Shizuku. Shizuku can only add from your deck to your hand a Sky Striker spell that is not in your graveyard. So since you first used multi-roll to set Engage from the graveyard to your field, it's no longer in your graveyard, therefore you can add another Engage. And that is what Sky Strikers like to call the Shizuku Shuffle. Yeah, I would have liked to have shown that ideally, but our opponent conceded a little bit too early. So there we go. There's our first game. Shows off a pretty standard sort of opening line from the Sky Striker deck. And yeah, let's take a look at the next one here. Okay, next opponent is going to be on Fiendsmith, Azamina White Forest. Another very popular deck at the moment, again, due to the recent selection pack that, believe it or not, I think has a little more staying power than Millennium as an archetype, so. Alright, of course, we're going second again, and this hand's looking very, very solid, honestly. Draw phase wanted has me a little bit nervous that it might be Snake Eye. But I think even if it was Snake Eye, this is one of the better opening hands you could ask for. Alright, so we're going to flip up Deception. Deception F, tribute the Diabell Star to add the Hallowed Azamina. Hallowed Azamina F, going to send the Deception to summon Mu Rishialago. Of course, Rishialago gets to add a Sinful Spoils or Azamina card here. And here they grab LZ Azamina of the White Forest, which is when I knew, okay, this is actually a White Forest deck, not Snake Eye. Normal summon Sylvie. Sylvie F is going to add Tails of the White Forest. Now LZ Azamina is summoned. Those two are going to synchro for the Rashila, I believe. Or Rasila. Yeah, Rasila, not Rashila. Sending Tails, LZ Azamina. You know, I didn't realize until Mu Rishialago came out, and I really should have, because, like, that's like Spanish for bat. Once I realized that, it made me feel like, I'm like, oh, that's why. Okay, so I was mispronouncing the whole name all the time. Yeah, anyway. LZ Azamina summoning itself, sending the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest that was added, which is going to get set back on the field. It's going to give our opponent the option to go into Guardian Chimera on their turn. Synchroing for Diabell, Queen of the White Forest. Here, Diabell F gets to add the Hallowed Azamina from graveyard back to our hand. Interesting. Okay, so we're not using it off the... We're adding it back, rather, off its own effects, so that we can keep the Rishialago on the field. Ilya Sylvia is going to get summoned here. And then Rushia is going to special summon herself from hand, sending Woes from hand to draw. Woes also gets to set itself here. Now synchroing the Rashila with the Mu Rishialago in order to summon out Baron de Fleur. So we definitely have our work cut out for us here. Especially as they go to activate Hallowed Azamina again. I don't remember them doing that. They have another Deception to send. Summon Mu Rishialago yet again. Oh, and they can bring back Sylvie and Synchro again. Oh, they're going to link. Okay. They're linking into Moon of Closed Heaven. As we're pivoting into the Fiendsmith stuff. They did send Fabled Lurie earlier to summon Diabell Star, which is worth noting. Okay, here's Engraver. Linking Engraver and Diabell. Interesting. The Diabell is getting sent here for the Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence F, fusing Lurie and Moon of Closed Heaven for Lacrima. Now here, I think Lacrima is probably going to add and not summon Engraver, right? Because we still have Tracked in deck. Nope, they're just summoning it. Never mind. They should have added it, unless they're going for a rank 6, which it looks like that is what's happening. The Beatrice. What are they dumping? I feel like they've already gone through their whole deck's combo line by this point, right? Dump a Stellar? Sure. I mean, that's fine. Is this, Oh, for Sprite Elf, and they can Elf bring back a Stellar. But even then, it's like... you linked off your Diabell in order to do this. I kind of feel like that's, kind of defeats the purpose, personally, but maybe not. Okay, summoning another Engraver, linking Engraver plus a Stellar for Moon of Closed Heaven again. I feel like our opponent's really spinning their wheels right now. Putting back Diabell to summon Rashila. Oh, and then we're going to go into Appaloosa. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess that ends them on Elf Appaloosa instead of just ending on Diabell. I will say, I think people generally overstate the target protection of Elf and how good it is. I mean, it's not a bad effect, don't get me wrong, but, like, a lot of people think it should be ban-worthy. I don't think conditional target protection warrants a card being ban-worthy, personally, but I know, of course, it also has the revive effect. I don't think that really constitutes it needing to be banned either. So here I'm just going to use Afterburners on the one card I can. Then we can use Ray Battle over the Elf. Figured my opponent would activate Appaloosa here, but I can simply chain the Widow Anchor, and this will bait out the Baron, which of course was the big thing I really wanted to do with this sequence of actions here. This sequence of actions is also definitely just filling up my graveyard here too, though, which is nice. With spells, that is, with spells. Now I can Raigeki, wipe the board. Boom, don't have to worry about those anymore. Got the Engage, since we have 3 spells in the yard, we can not only add the multi-roll, but also draw a card. Rhoda's a fine draw. We actually don't really need it because Ray's already in the graveyard, but we can activate multi-roll and then activate Hornet Drones, which is nice because not only does it let us go into, you know, our Sky Striker links, but also that's an activation for the multi-roll. So Kagari is going to activate here, try to add back Engage, but unfortunately my opponent's last card in hand was Effect Veiler. Now, I already have Widow Anchor in the yard, thankfully, so I can still just set that anyway off the multi-roll. And I think I am going to have to do that instead of Engage. Although, I could set Engage. I think that would be greedy. I think that's actually what I do here. That is what I did. I set Engage, so then I could do the Shizuku Shuffle and then add an Engage as well. I think that was quite greedy of me, honestly. Although, I guess to be fair, our opponents burned through a lot of their engine. They don't have a Synchro Monster that they can use to bring back the White Forest Tuners. Like, even if they top deck like in the Stellar. Well, they could normal summon a Stellar, send Woes, add or special Sylvie F to add. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like my opponent wasn't likely to pull a whole lot off, even if they got some plays going here, right? Top deck Fiendsmith's Tract is so, like, unbelievably fine. It's just, like, yeah, they can add the Engraver, or summon the Engraver, rather. But, like, I don't know, they've already gone through their whole Fiendsmith package, so I don't really feel threatened by anything they could link into. Maybe they could go into a rank 6, like High Caesar might be a little annoying, except actually not at all, because I could just use Engage to add something like Afterburners in the graveyard, but I could just add, like, another Widow Anchor and just negate and take it, right? This is, like, this is what Sky Striker and control decks in general really try to play towards, right? This sense of inevitability. The inevitability that, like, whatever my opponent is going to do isn't really going to be enough. They do manage to use Engraver to try to remove the Shizuku, or to successfully remove the Shizuku, and they're going to use Ilya Sylvia on the Ray when I go to try to revive her. But that's still just, like, fine. Okay, I will say, Woes is a little bit scary here. Although, I think, do they have to Synchro for a White Forest Monster? I guess they could just Synchro Summon anyway. Yeah, they have to Synchro Summon for White Forest Monster. But I actually managed to win this duel due to time limit. I will say, though, I don't think I needed to win due to time limit. I actually think I was just going to win that duel anyway. Excuse me. I had 6,800 life points. My opponent had 2 Engravers. Even if they both attack directly, that's 3,600. I don't think they can link or exceed into anything that would get them more stats than that. So even if they battled for 3,600 and ended on High King Caesar, I have double Engage. I feel like I don't need to explain much more. I have double Engage going into their next turn, which is why I decided to risk it and go for it. Because, again, even if my opponent did combo off, like I said, it was pretty unlikely it was going to be like a game-ending combo for me. Anyway, we have one more duel to check out. Let's finish off with that one. And our final opponent is going to be on a 60-card Thunder Dragon deck. They're playing Cash, Tira stuff, but they're not really playing any new archetypes like Fiendsmith or Azavina or Millennium or anything. It's kind of funny how all 3 of those archetypes from the new pack can just be splashed into a decent amount of decks, right? Of course, Millennium splashes aren't as prominent as, like, Azamina or Fiendsmith, but decks that have splashed Millennium have done well in, like, paper play, occasionally, so... Oh, did they tribute set? Is that what that was? Them setting the... Yeah, they tribute set. They tributed Magnum Hut to set the Thunder Dragon Dark. And because you can use face-down monsters as fusion material, or you can also tribute face-down monsters, that play was actually legal. So now, Colossus might seem like the end of the world, right? Like, Colossus plus Bestial monsters. However, are you going to win as the Sky Striker deck? We have Droplet. It's okay. we just have Forbidden Droplet. It's fine. This is kind of one of the reasons why we play Droplet, though. Kind of. Opponent's going to Ash Desires. Obviously completely fine. One of the reasons I led by activating Desires. If we look at our 10 that we banished here as well, nothing really that big of a deal at all, honestly. The multi-roll, it's our only copy of multi-roll. I suppose if I'm on Desires, I maybe should consider a second one, but even that's not like the end of the world. Here I'm going to use triple attack to draw 2. I maybe should have just stolen the Colossus, but I would have needed to have activated Hornet Drones first if I wanted to like link into Zeke, right? Anyway, here I can just use Droplet on Colossus, then go for the Engage, and my opponent's going to concede right there. I also could have activated Thrust for Engage as well. I should have done that first, maybe? I don't think it really matters that much, but yeah, we could have Thrust for Engage. Oh, that would have been oh my god, we would have gone off that turn. We wouldn't have had multi-roll, so establishing the gameplay loop would have been a little more difficult, but like we would have resolved 3 Engage for search and draw there, which would have been absolutely insane. Add Widow Anchor, add Shark Cannon, add Linkage, and then we're just ready for literally anything our opponent does. All right, that is going to do it for these games and this video. Thank you, of course, as always, for watching all the way to the end. I've been saying it a lot lately, and I say it in my outro too, but I really just want to emphasize like how much that helps the channel. So I really want to thank you all who are listening right now, or watching rather. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Let's move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.